Happy Wednesday, Juju Gang. Hope everyone's doing well. Beautiful summer day here in Vancouver, sitting outside, getting some fresh air. The interesting part of the whole market right now seems to be this Bank of Japan news. And honestly, what's funny about it is that I think everyone's missing the forest for the trees a little bit here. If you look at the Bank of Japan news, last night we got some breaking news. The Bank of Japan essentially relented, right? They're not going to continue to raise rates, even though they probably should, even though their economy is kind of deteriorating and the central bank is essentially playing games with everyone. Now, what happened when they raised rates last week was what we saw with the carry trade risk, everything that happened in the stock market on the Sunday heading into the Monday morning, and the 5 or 6% NASDAQ crash that essentially got bought up. Now, what we saw last night was massive, and how this relates into tech and into Tesla, I'll talk about here in a second. First, hit the like, hit the subscribe if you're enjoying the content. I am trying to find a comfortable spot here, so pardon my movement. Okay, so this Bank of Japan news, I think everyone's missing the forest for the trees a little bit here. The reason why this matters so much is not because Japan in and of itself. I mean, yes, you can talk about how the repercussions and the derivative effects of what happens in Japan will affect the US stock market, but this is a precursor for what I think what will happen in the next, I don't know, 3, 6, 8 months here with the central bank and the Fed. So the interesting part is not Japan in and of itself, honestly, all respect to Japan. It's when this happens to the Fed, will the Fed relent just as easy as the Bank of Japan just did? Because the Bank of Japan just essentially bent over, right? That's it. Will the Fed do the same? And all indications point towards no. Everyone is clamoring for an emergency, 25, 50 basis point cut in rates. That's not going to happen, folks. Until September 18th, there will be no interest rate cut. That's my prediction. And so, the thing to take into consideration here is that the Fed wants the economy to essentially go into shambles. It wants everyone to clamor for a rate cut, so it's not controversial when they do cut it. The last thing they want is in an election year to be politicized in any way. And so when Elon talks about Tesla and rate cuts helping boost car sales, I can't help to think in the other side of my head, well, yeah, but if the rate cuts happen, that means the economy is in complete chaos, right? And not a little bit, and not a soft landing, but I'm talking, if they have to do an emergency rate cut of 50 basis points, like the economy is quite literally in the shitter, right? And some would argue that it already is today. So in other pieces of news, Waymo actually launched their new robotaxi in LA. I've got a lot of hate coming my way when I said that this is actually quite good for Tesla in the way that it pushes Tesla forward. The competition is great. I want to continue to see Waymo expand and do well. I just don't know how they're going to really truly scale, but the more fire that we can light under Tesla's belly, I think the better it is for the market. Incoming comments about how Tesla engineers already push so much and Elon has already pushed them, sure. But there's something to be said about external pressure, I think, as well. I always say this, without Samsung, there would be no Apple, right? And as we sit here around $200 a share, Tesla's red on a green NASDAQ day as I record this. Will it catch up is the question. And I think it will. It's just lagging a little bit now. Tesla is quite literally trying to pass through its 200-day moving average yet again. And as we sit here, we're within a couple buck range of it. Now, the interesting part is it could be a topping signal because, if NASDAQ goes up 2%, Tesla stays flat, very easily the next day when the NASDAQ's down 2%, Tesla could be down 4% with a beta of 2. That's just the way the cookie crumbles with Tesla a little bit. So what I would like to see is for us to break free and clear of the 200-day heading into close. This today would be great. This week would be ideal. And heading into next week, I think we'll start to notice really the lack of volume. I've said this, look, during the doldrums of summer, during when nothing is going on, it is easier to push narratives on the stock market. Everyone on the run wants you to sell their stocks because when the Wall Street toots come back from their Hampton vacations, Labor Day, the first thing they want to do is they want to buy back on the cheap. They want to look at their positions and go, yeah, we can double down on this, we can double down on that. So up until now, until really DNC, but we can even push that until Labor Day,
I think there'll be just general volatility, back forth swing. I don't think there'll be a general direction until after the 3rd week of August, in my opinion. Again, none of this is financial advice, but this is where my head's at. I called this out a few weeks ago. I said until DNC, which is I think August 19th, the Democratic National Convention, I don't think there will be any clear direction in the market. Last night or yesterday, Tim Walz being announced as VP candidate for Kamala Harris maybe sort of puts some discredence to my theory. But at the end of the day, the volume is just not there until Labor Day. So as we sit here, FSD, by the way, 12.5 is still not released to hardware 3 cars. I'll be the first to update you when I get mine. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to get mine, but if you do the math on when Elon said 10 days, it should be today or tomorrow, or something like that, if we include weekends, which I'm guessing we would. I don't think Elon celebrates the Sabbath. So any day now, I guess, is what we're waiting for hardwood, or for 12.5. And then until October 10th, you know, I said this on stream the other day. I bought some October 18th calls for Tesla, I think. Anyways, I talked about it on the stream. And those haven't collapsed in value as much as I thought they would, despite Tesla obviously having a hard time. So I guess we'll see kind of what happens with Tesla, but I'm still going to continue to hold those, and I guess we'll see what happens. But I thought if I baked in robotaxi event earnings, the rest in the next couple of months, I would not lose that much implied volatility on them. So I guess we'll see. To be determined. Much love, Yash signing off. I hope you have a wonderful, happy day, and it feels weird, but being 29 feels a little bit odd today. But much love. I hope everyone has a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Peace out.